Was that the podcast? Should we set up? And
yeah.
All right. Probably edit in between.
We'll just do the end first.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, this is Johnny, and he does many things. You may know him or may not know him as the man behind Anarchy Audio. So he makes some pretty rad pedals, and yeah, we're just hanging out. And
in the guitar nerd heaven.
Guitar nerd heaven.
Yeah, these places are. Every time I come here, it's just more heaven. Why would you leave? I think. Can I just live in like that corner?
There you go. That's yours.
I'm gonna
that's
live
why
in
it's
that
there.
corner underneath the sewing machine, which still scares the shit out of me.
Which we were just joking about the sewing machine and destroying our fingers, and then I just went to get an amp and nearly like crushed my hand in between amp and thing and cut myself. So that's a lesson. Don't be scared of the sewing machine. Be scared of your own idiocy. But yeah, why don't you give me like the origin story of how you ended up being a guy who makes guitar pedals?
Oh man, making guitar pedals. If you told me in high school that you would, I don't make guitar pedals full time. Let's just say that. To get into that, I treat it pretty much the same way as being in a band in a kind of way. So guitar pedals, I've always kind of been into electronics. I grew up with my old man was a technician, so audiophile stuff, TVs. You know, in Australia when we first came here, he installed all the FPOS machines and all the ATM stuff. So I used to follow him around.
Wow.
Then I used the multimeters, and I didn't kind of really want to be a tech. I got into guitar because I just loved rocking out. But you know, being poor when you're a teenager, shit used to break all the time, and you just to pay for a tech, you know, I use just kind of like a car breaking down. Kind of got to learn to fend for yourself, otherwise you're just going to be working and paying off someone else to fix it. So I got into like mainly tech stuff, trying to get my amp gig worthy, not blow up, get through a show. I built pedals with a friend in high school. We were probably just doing it because it was something else to do with our spare time in between video games and whatever. Didn't really get into it. I was more into multi-effects and rack gear. So I kind of came full circle to after my band and gigging days. I just needed a hobby.
So just to like cut a little wedge in there.
Yep.
So obviously you got into music, and what's your like involvement with, I guess, the music scene and stuff like that in Perth?
I played in a few original bands around the Perth scene. First band I won't mention because it sucked. It's just a high school band, just friends, we had a great time. We got introduced into the world of, I guess, early 2000s.
It's like the name of everyone's first band. It sucked.
It sucked. We had the My First Phaser song and My First Flanger song, where you know, when you first discover it and you step on that section, it just goes. It takes over the whole mix. We had those songs. The singer in that band kind of, I asked him actually. He was walking down the road. And we were looking for a singer, we couldn't find one. The conversation pretty much went like this. Hey mate, can you sing? Yup. Okay, you're in the band. And then I played in another band called Nubian around 2003, 2004. We weren't, I guess, kind of pop rock, like a Nickelback-y, Foo Fighter-y type band. I mean, I was into the real heavy music then, but I was playing with rock.
Well, I guess it's it's weird because you say that, and I almost exactly know what you sounded like if you're from Perth. I joined another band after when we split ways, and that was Discord. We were just like heavy music and just wanted to play. And we kind of had to build our own scene, and I guess to do that you had to go out and support other bands. You had to be the odd band out on every bill. We played with anyone. We had like Mochi, Celador, Seraphim. Man, all this, best time of my life, you know, because completely different bands, and you put on a show, gig, midweek, end of the week, whatever.
you'd have all the different crowds.
Yeah.
And then the crowds got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, at the same time, I guess you had like Perth bands. That was a thing, and Western Front. So these sort of like online, pre-Facebook. Where
MySpace was what we had.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny how it's all evolved now, and whether I'm kind of out of the loop of the Perth scene now. I guess I don't get to go out as much, but that was our lives.
Yeah.
You gigged, you went to gigs because, as I'll say it before, it's the bands that support the bands, and that's how you build the scene. Because then the punters will come because they think, oh wow, this is a healthy scene.
Yeah.
And you had to do that. You had to show support. You stayed there, watched the end of the gig, or you could be a dick and talk down on other bands and you wouldn't get shows.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you made a video about that, and that is completely 100% true, because all that negativity reflects badly on your life, and
But everyone does it.
if you're going to be a negative person, and I guess
everyone has done it. Like, I have done that with bands, and like, still do. You're at a rehearsing, like, oh, I see so-and-so or something, but then, you try not to dwell on it.
I used to waste so much of my time and energy. I directed a lot of hate to cover bands, because we used to go, play your own original music, and they would get paid more and have bigger crowds, and the girls love them. At the same time, did you have the smart idea to start a band and play shows and make music? No, you were too lazy, doing whatever. So you can bitch and moan about anything in life, but I get that with pedals as well.
Yeah.
Oh, it's only well, it's that easy. Well, did you do it? Did you put the time and hours? And once you wash all that negativity out of your life, you find you much more productive, much more happier. Good luck comes, and if you surround yourself with positive people, so much better things can be done in life, instead of just being bitter and I could have done that. Well, have a go.
Yeah.
Fail. Have a go. If fail, then you've got the right to bitch. But until you've done that, shut the fuck up and
Or even just fail and just everyone's failed, mate. Like, just get on with it.
Fail, get up, and learn from it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like everyone has done it or does it, and at least having the awareness to go, actually, I could put this energy into something like that can do something for me.
Positive. There's more to life than just being bitter.
Like, channel it the right way.
Yeah.
You can channel it into just wind.
Music is a good outlet for a lot of I guess in the world doesn't owe you. You make something out of your life. It's all on you. I guess certain people have. I guess you're dealt cards when you're up. Some people have skills or luck, or you're dealt certain cards. You just got to work on what you've got.
You're dealt cards, but then you have to play them.
Yeah, you got to play them and not.
You're eventually going to get dealt another hand.
You work on what you've got. Don't talk shit about others, because it doesn't improve you. It doesn't improve you at all. You're just wasting.
I remember someone saying when I was, those bits of advice you get kind of at the right time. I was probably a teenager and I was probably just bitching about some band or something, and they said, mate, that's fine to think that, but realise that everybody does that. And when you start airing that in public, it doesn't say anything about what you're complaining about, it says something about you. Yeah. So you're like signalling something to other people.
I guess it's human nature to be jealous, it shows emotions, but, why? Why just be so angry or jealous or for that situation? Like,
what I've learned is like, when I feel that, it's like, okay, here's someone doing something great, and like, I want to do something great. Well, really deep down, they can't be that different to me. So I probably just have to do a lot of work, and I might be able to do something similar. So that's the like, you get the feelings of resentment and jealousy, and then they sit there, and then you go, okay, cool, I need to like channel these again into something.
Well, you look at all the real like guitar idols that we worship. We think of them as gods, but if you really think about it, they're just human like us.
Yeah.
They've either been in the right place or had the right plan, goals and plans to make their wishes come true, or they've worked really hard, but they're still human.
Yeah.
Like you get some natural abilities, but if you're not motivated or you're not determined, you still skill plays a certain part. If you just sit on your ass and do nothing, you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
And they've all maybe there's a small exception where someone just wins the musical lottery and
Yeah.
here's $1 million go tour, and they're just lucky at that time.
Yeah.
You know, most people aren't, and I have the utmost respect for Perth. You know, talking back to that local scene, so many of my friends and peers, and you know, they've toured the world, they've got endorsements, and you know, they've come from Perth. Like
Yeah.
we are one of the most, if not the most isolated cities in the world. We're nowhere near Melbourne, we're nowhere near Sydney. Like, and if they can do it,
Yeah.
you can, you know. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like the rarest commodity especially in the music industry, and especially with gear, is honesty. And I know a lot of the stuff I like, the people who make it happen to just be like, look, this is what I do. If you don't like it, don't use it, but I'm not gonna like tell you there's stuff in it that there isn't.
Some people want that, and I find that really frustrating. They want you to talk yourself up. I don't know.
Do you think some people want to be lied to?
I think they do. Like, it's the myth. You know, you spend more money and you can one-up your friend who doesn't have that. I don't know. I just don't get that whole vibe. That's just not me. It is what it is. You know, you can believe as much. If you spend X amount of money and you want to believe it sounds better, you will hear the difference.
Yeah.
Talk about patch cables, magnets and pickups, diodes and pedals, mojo. Oh, I hate that word, mojo. I think mojo's lost its vibe completely.
Mojo's lost its mojo?
Mojo's lost its mojo. Man, it's just... Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe back in the day, you know, Jimi Hendrix had 10 fuzz faces, and maybe on one day the temperature was right and, you know, the transistors just worked for that sound. He sifted through it. That at mojo. Eric Johnson's batteries, or whatever that myth is spread, yeah, mojo. Nowadays, I'm going to start ranting soon. You get X pedal builder of the year or month or amp builder that just uses mojo parts. I'm like, well, if every part's mojo, then everything's going to sound different.
Yeah.
Like, and it is like, you don't know what's inside these.
Mojo's like a macro phenomenon, not a micro phenomenon.
It's like 20-year-old capacitors could be dried inside, and you don't know what is that mojo, or is that just you buying parts that look cool and going in there? How can you replicate mojo? You know what I mean? What about consistency in the build?
Yeah.
And I saw what was it, one of these forums? One of the builders was saying, I make a clone of this pedal, but I use mojo parts. And a customer actually said, so does it sound exactly the same? Or does it not sound exactly the same? He goes, it sounds exactly the same, but it uses enhanced parts. But, oh, so hang on. But it sounds exactly the same. So
Yeah.
It just contradicts.
That's a contradiction.
It made no fucking sense. I was like, well yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't like that false marketing. You use the parts that you know that do the job. They're consistent. They're consistent. They've got a certain tolerance. You know, I'm not really a fan of buying old capacitors that have been stored somewhere in some weird warehouse and they could be dried out and fail. And you know, they look cool, but how do you know? And you're not going to measure every single one, or if it's a small batch, maybe. But I don't know. A good circuit doesn't need to rely on a mojo part.
Yeah.
Transistors, yeah, there's certain mojos and some where you know the drifts. Oh,
but ideally, that's good design, because it's like, I'm going to design this so that I know that parts have varying tolerances, so that I can actually build it so that with those random variables, I still get a consistent output.
There are some circuits that are highly sought after that are built on just like, you just look at it and go, oh my god, from an electrical point understanding, you're just like, this makes no sense, and it's actually just a bad design.
Yeah.
But the sound we are used to, it's just what our heroes played, and you're like, oh my god, I'm stuck with this thing that's designed in the 60s or the 50s, and that's all they had, and that's what they came up with.
Yeah.
And you're trying to do it in 2018 going, this makes no fucking sense. Like, what? But when you get it right, you're like, oh, sweet.
Oh yeah, this is
now I can only make like 2 or 3 pieces, or you know, and you're like,
yeah,
oh, I could be more productive, but I want that sound, and we get caught in that chasing tone.
Yeah.
And chasing tone, oh my god.
Yeah. Wow, dude. So to backtrack quickly, we were talking about Perth bands.
Yeah.
That's where I became aware of you, and you were Johnny C on Perth bands.
Only seen on Perth bands.
And I always remember seeing maybe a pedal that you had modified or built from a kit.
Okay, yep.
And maybe you built it for somebody, and I remember I'll let you fill in the details because you probably remember, but it's sort of like that's where you got your start, I guess, taking what is now Anarchy Audio.
Okay.
How did that happen? And to me, it sort of like happened in the context of that, like I guess the Perth community,
yep.
but like the Perth online community around that forum.
Okay.
And
backtracking, I built the pedal when I was 15 with my mate, and we built it on a piece of cardboard. It didn't work. We were just more interested in video games. I said I got more interested in making music, and I didn't touch pedals again. So fast forward to Perth bands. When was Perth bands? 2003, 2004. A chap by the name of Perry Ormsby. He was
there's that name again.
Perry Ormsby. So I owe quite a lot to him. So he was the guitar guy that was doing setups, and he modified a couple of guitars for me. And I was hanging at his workshop, which was the original workshop, and he's now back in that same workshop. So I used to go in there, and Perry could talk. You go in there for a guitar setup, and 3 hours later you'd still be talking. And he used to be the distributor for Build Your Own Clone, BYOC. So he had those kits.
There you go.
Those kits just sitting on the wall, and I was like, I want a tube screamer, because I love tube screamers. He didn't have one at the time, so there was a what's it called, DoD 250 plus / distortion, because Perry's a Randy Rhoads fan. So I bought that and a delay and a tube screamer kit. Built them, and it was pretty much just paint by numbers, like a assemble an IKEA furniture thing. You didn't learn anything. You just stuffed parts in there. Didn't know how it worked, but it held your hand, and I didn't like that. I got quite bored quite quickly. So I started getting schematics and making my own layouts. I'm getting a breadboard, best thing ever, because you can change parts in and out and do some math. There's actually quite a bit of math involved in pedal building if you want to design circuits. Boring as hell, but there is a calculation for gain, all that stuff. I won't go into that because that's math.
What I would recommend if you want to learn more about it, there's a channel called 3 Blue 1 Brown, and he just explains math. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
It's like, it is such a beautiful channel, like his visuals, but he has one on Fourier transforms and Fourier analysis, so just go and watch the way he explains that.
Yeah,
I watched this video recently. I have an honours degree in maths.
Yeah.
I was going to go and do a PhD in it and was like, nah, I'm going to play music instead. So I watched this and I was like, this is the best I've ever seen this explained. This is like better than any course I did at university in this, and it's a 10-minute video.
I did an exam, so I'm a science degree, and we had one exam that was shared with a math class. And I think their class was basically just called either pure mathematics.
That's what I would have done.
You probably would have been in that class, and I was like thinking at the time doing the exam going, why the fuck would anyone want to learn? Well, there you go. There you go. Oh, man.
There you go. End up playing in a band and having a YouTube channel.
So, going back from that, designing circuits and around Perth, I was playing in bands, and I wasn't really into pedals. Actually, no, I was into pedals. I had lots of pedal boards. Actually, I was into, being on Perth bands, I was really on there for the buy and sell page. I was the guy that had a different guitar and a different amp head at every gig, and we did so many gigs. It just, I don't know why. I was just like gear obsessed. Pickups, amp heads, tubes, cables, patch. Through all that bullshit. Just to find my tone. And then when I stopped playing in a band, I was kind of like, well, what's the reason I need to, I want to keep my creativity, and started YouTube. I wanted to be a YouTube demo guy, and that was in the real early days of YouTube. We had Gearman Dude, Brett Kingman, Pro Guitar Shop. That was all new then. I was like, I'll give this a go. I didn't have the charisma as Leon. I didn't do any talking, or I was just like, we'll just try and do a demo. close mic account and just
Yep.
try and play something, you know. And I would buy pedals and sell pedals just to get content on my YouTube channel. So, well, I built these kits, I might as well just try building my own. So I started building just variations of circuits that I loved and wanted to learn about. And then people would ask, you know, oh, can you build me one? And then I didn't really want to do a business. I guess I just wasn't business minded. I just wanted to have a hobby that would keep me interested in guitar. So I used to invite, I call them clients or customers over, build them a pedal, and I'd say, here's a computer, here's a badly programmed drum beat, write something, and that would be my demo.
Yeah.
I would, have, and I still got, what was it, not SoundCloud, SoundClick.
Oh,
I still got those old shitty recordings. I'll have to look them up. So, so all maybe my first 20 or so customers from my custom pedals, which had no name back then, were all forced to come over to my house and try and record a snippet of something for that pedal. And that was what I did. And I slowly migrated that stuff onto YouTube. And then...
so I remember you built a pedal for Simon from Chaos.
Yes,
the human connection one?
The human connection and the human centipede.
Which I remember seeing and just going, who is this guy and what is he doing? Because this is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's my sick, twisted sense. I still rate the human centipede as one of the... Like, I love movies, but after some time you realise everything's a remix and you get bored. And I thought the human centipede was B grade and just so ridiculous that it was awesome. It was so unique at the time. So yeah, Simon obviously shared the same, you know, in the gutter sense of humour. And I was like, Human Connection was the album that came out at the time. You know, I think Dave, the singer, went through some bad news with his dad. Was that the album? Or was that the next one? I don't know. I can't remember.
I forget. Might have been the next one.
Yeah, it might have been the next one, but I don't know. I just focused on the Human Centipede, Human Connection, because we were just idiots. That you know, great band. I love Chaos Divine. I've said before, been there at their first gig, and just seeing how they progressed. They, you know, new album in the works. Can't wait. I've got to hit try.
Some of it sounds so good.
Yeah, so he just asked me, you know what, fuck, we got to do this, man. I don't even care what circuit you want. I hand filed that digestive tray. It's probably the lowest point in, you know, creativity wise, but
the highest point.
The lowest point. It was yeah. So that was an interesting build. So I guess custom builds, you know, people either really want stuff like that, look wise, or they're really
very specific,
anally specific about that sound. And me trying to translate that, you know, I was up for the challenge, and from that spawned Anarchy Audio. I only made a brand name, and I was reluctant to do that for quite some time. I only did that because of, I guess, resale value. You would see some pedals. Look, be totally honest, straight up, we're all going to buy gear and sell gear if it doesn't work. Straight up, you're not going to buy a piece of gear and keep it. You evolve as a player, you evolve your tone. A piece of gear might not work for you. And if it was something for me, you know, I can't say, oh, why are you selling that custom pedal for hours? It's just, you know, I tried my best and obviously didn't suit, or they changed rigs, or I don't know, whatever. You sell gear for different reasons. And it would be like, oh, I've got this custom pedal built by some guy. I was like, oh, there's no resale value in that. Who's that guy? So I was like, oh, maybe it's time to, you know, start a brand. And Anarchy Audio, you know.
So it was a very reluctant...
It was a reluctant move, but look, I had certain things happen in my life around that time. So I had a good mate pass away. He was the first out of 3 of my good mates, and I had a really bad, you know, bad luck with that. So suicide happened. That hit really hard. So my way of coping, you know, apart from, you know, you had your loved ones, we were a really tight group of friends. We all came together and we mourned. It was, you know, really hit home. But my way of coping with that, and this is really bad for me to look back now, was to seclude myself. I just retracted. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to get close to anyone. I'm going to keep myself busy. So I locked myself in my shed and just built circuits and pedals. I was like, you know what, fuck, I'm going to do this brand. Because he was the guy that we did try to make a pedal when he was 15.
Wow.
I'm going to keep myself super busy and forget about this. I was kind of bitter and kind of negative, but I want to keep myself super busy. fuck it, I'm gonna do it. And then talking again before, we mentioned about getting rid of negative thoughts and positive thoughts. At some point, I was like, I'm stopping being bitter. Change my outlook on life, and just certain things happened. It was weird. It wasn't like it didn't happen straight away, but it just slowly things happened in my life that was like, holy crap, positive thinking and can attract new energy and vibes. So to prolong Anarchy audio, so being in Perth, super expensive to make stuff. Postage, we get raped. It's just hard to source things. So I was still taking guitar lessons, and this was at the Rock-In at Cliff Linton.
Yep.
Okay.
I know Cliff. Yep.
So Cliff's son, Justin Linton, was Vortex Effects. So right. If you Google Vortex Effects, there's a CE1 chorus, the Blue Maiden.
I forgot all about
Blue
this.
Maiden, okay? The Blue Maiden, and Brett Kimming did an excellent demo of that. Just by some weird ass, this is the whole Perth connection. So he found out I was building pedals, and he just contacted me out of the blue. And I'm like, hey, Johnny, I'm moving to America for holiday or something. I've just got all these parts that I'm gonna throw away. Do you want to come over and just take what you need? I went over and he had all these jacks and enclosures and circuit boards and all that stuff. I was like, oh, what? And he's sort of like, yeah, I'll get my enclosure screen printed here and get my PCB boards fab there, and he just gave me all this, not only stuff that was good quality and a huge help to start up something like a pedal business. He gave me advice and all that kind of stuff as well. I was just like, what the hell, and I'm to today still in his debt. If I could ever track him down, I don't know if he's still in Perth or still travelling. Yeah, I definitely owe him a beer, and
Wow.
And I still try and do that with people that come ask questions. Just pass on.
Yeah.
Because I had just out of the blue. So that was one part.
It's funny because my dad knows Cliff,
yep.
and I've known of Cliff and Cliff since I was like a kid, and I always remember my dad saying, I think Cliff had one of the first PRS guitars in Perth.
Okay. That would have been through the Rock-In connection.
Yep. And actually, I should do a podcast with Cliff because he's the definition of a local legend.
Definitely.
The last of the session guys in Perth, and an incredible guitar player.
Yep.
And I remember he came around, the last time I saw him, he came around and goes, oh, here's this chorus pedal that my son makes.
Yep.
He had his pedal board and he plugged it in. He just started playing, and it's like Alan Holdsworth walking into your bedroom. And it's just like, what am I watching? What is this guy doing? So man, I'd forgotten all that. And he said, oh, check out this chorus that my son makes. And I just remember it sounded insane.
Justin was super nice dude. I always remember that. So him and Perry Ormsby, Perry even, he's been kind of like a secret mentor to me. Like, not in the sense that I try and follow his business model or anything like that, but he posted something about, and he's a great guy, giving back info and passing on the torch, because you don't want to die with your secrets and kind of stuff like that. So he put a post out to say, look, here's a mentorship program for luthiers. I was like, I'll just run him. He rang me, and we had, again, Perry could talk, so we probably had like a 3 or 4 hour conversation, and he just told me, not tactics, but and I took away what I needed or what I felt would suit me out of it. And he's obviously, his business has skyrocketed, and I don't want to piggyback off any of that. He just gave me the push, I guess, the little push, to believe in myself. And not only believe in myself, but the product. And I guess, look, if you're going to get into pedal business, you can either just sell pedals, or you can, really support the people who are your customers. They basically own you, and that's kind of, I try as best as I can. If someone needs a repair, I'll try and help them out ASAP. But that's just me. How, if I wanted, I wanted to be able to have that service as a customer at a prosumer level myself. I want that kind of. I don't just want a faceless, here's a support ticket. Kind of, I guess, that's kind of basically how it started, and it snowballed from there. Like I don't know, Perth, as I said, it's so small, and certain bands like it. At the same time though, because it was either local, I don't know, I've got this kind of, not, I've just got this feeling that, you know, if you're local, people don't give a shit about you until you've made it big elsewhere.
Yeah.
You probably get that vibe. And
100%.
Perth, we suffer from maybe, I don't know if other cities do it, but the tall puppy syndrome, I don't know, if you get that vibe.
It's huge.
And people will talk shit until you make it big elsewhere, and then they'll claim you as your own.
It's the true Australian way.
I don't know, like...
Because I mean, the classic thing would be like, you'd say to somebody, I play music, or I build pedals, and they go, yeah, but what's your day job?
Yeah.
What else do you do?
It's different, I guess, here. It's not like, I assume, in America, where if you said you were a musician, a professional musician, they'll go, oh, you're like, you know, touring and making a decent living.
Or in Europe, people go like, oh, you're a musician,
it's
that's
different.
a profession.
Yeah,
like,
but in Australia we have football. In Perth we have, you know, the vibe's different.
we lionize people in their late teens to early 30s who are able to use their bodies well. Like,
it's weird.
That's basically...
It's weird, like, 2007 to 2011, that gap was just, Perth band time before, pre-Facebook.
Because I remember you made Simon a pedal, then Troy heard it,
Yep.
and then you made him a pedal,
Yep.
and then he was like, you should get Johnny to make you something, and then you made me that.
Yeah, and that
So-
was the last custom pedal I built before the Ragdoll.
Because this would have been...
OCD MOSFET.
Yep.
You've lost the knob.
Yeah, it's...
I have to get you another one.
And it's great, it still sounds amazing. I pull it out every now and then and record with it.
Just in case you forget what band you're playing in.
That's the most important part. But I remember I got this,
Oh, look.
and then immediately took it to a gig. And
Yes,
didn't try it. I remember you being like,
holy shit.
And I
You're gonna
remember plugging
test
it
it out?
in and going, this sounds awesome.
I don't know anyone that would trust, that's showing a lot of faith, because would you go up and play a gig with gear you're not familiar with and just plug in? So I just, still today, I'm like,
I do that all the time though, just
blows
like,
my mind. But you can make any of them sound good. You've got the knowledge and know
as
how
long as
to
it's loud, that's
dial
fine.
in the tone. So what were you using back then? Like DSL or Blues Junior or something?
For that, I think I took that straight to a cover gig, and that was a Blues Junior, so that was perfect. And then I did a gig with it, probably, so 2011. I remember the first part of 2011, I was like in this phase where I was using a rack, and then it was actually Troy, and he was like, you should just use a head, you don't need a rack. And then I started using my Soldano again, so it was like, I remember plugging this into my Soldano and setting the amp clean and using this as a distortion and being like, this sounds really, like this is doing what the amp does.
Okay.
It's like giving me more of what I like. And
So
yeah, that was like...
That was the boost side or the OCD
Just the OCD side.
So OCD, great circuit. It's got its thing going on. I'm trying to remember, jeez.
Yeah, we just...
Did you tour with that as well? You went, yeah.
That's been to the States and back a few times, cool. And it's been on a bunch of recordings.
It still looks good. Graphic was perfect.
Yeah, it's kind of like aged very, very nicely. And yeah, that was just the album art. And I remember you like split the logo, and it's very, very clever.
Yeah. Yeah, so in the early days, it was like custom pedals. People either want, really specific. And that taught me a lot about, designing, for the muso as well. Because basically, your art is being stepped on to make music. So and you learnt, and also I was buying a shitload of pedals and figuring out how broken pedals as well, because just being poor, trying to fix them and learning what would be failing and where like a company would try and just skimp and save. Just, when you're buying in bulk, like the one thing I hate when people say is like, oh, it's just a bunch of cheap parts, like it's a 10-cent resistor or whatever. The thing that gripes me is you only get it at that really cheap price.
When you buy
lots. Buy like a shit ton. If you're a small time, it's still, you still got to source it. And being in Australia, we don't have the resources as the pedal builders in America, and plus their cost of living is just, you only have to sell, a few to make vibe. But in Perth, like, God, pint of beer here is like, you don't drink, so it's like $12 plus. You know, now there's venues with chandeliers. I bitch about this all the time. You know, but you know, it is what it is. So.
But I mean, the thing is, like, okay, say you put out a pedal, and it's 200 Australian dollars, and let's just say, let's ignore the fact that obviously it costs you like R&D hours and parts. Say it's just $200 in revenue.
Yep.
That revenue will buy you 20 beers if you're lucky. If you did the equivalent in America, they'll probably buy you like 2 to 3 times as many beers.
Yeah.
So it's like the beers to sale ratio.
Look, it's not a glamorous task. It's not much money. If you count down the hours, it's
Rubbish.
Rubbish. You do it either because you find a way to do it cheaply and make lots of profit, or you really, 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 really love what you do. And I'm following in the latter.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's one of these things where it's like, you know, for such a sort of niche market, when you love it, the hours don't matter. But someone's going to do it. Like, you know, there has to be someone making good gear on doing cool things, whether it's like a pedal that costs you $100 or $200. You know, there might be like 300 hours of R&D in it, or it's an Axe Effects which does everything ever invented and more. It's sort of like,
aren't we lucky to live in a time where there is a piece of gear for every niche?
yeah,
And for every budget that, you know, you don't need much to sound good.
yeah,
I would probably say spend more time learning how to dial in tones and how to play cleanly and your technique. And worry about the gear later. Like, you know, if you jump straight to gear, you get option paralysis.
yeah.
Like, I mean, I was playing the Axe 3 for the first time today. Leon's got all these great amps, and he's spent the time learning how to dial them in. But his presets, you know, I think the only other time I played an Axe 8, it sounded great, and the guy goes, "Yeah, they're Leon's presets."
That's
like,
so weird
yeah,
to me
just
still.
like,
So
it must feel good, yeah, you know. And you've done it around your ears in your room and your bar setting, and someone can take that as a platform, or it could just suit them perfectly fine.
it's a weird thing because it's, you know, it's like this weird like parallel universe where, you know, you've got modeling now, which can you can digitally recreate analog circuits, and it's so accurate, but it all happens in one box now. So it's like you have these like, you know, people who love gear, but then they get into modelers, and then it's like, which modeler is best? Which is just like 70% of the comments on my YouTube channel, like, should I do this or do this
Which
or do
is
this? And
best?
it's like,
I hate that question. You see that pop up on gear forums, because when someone asks which gear is best, people just start rattling what they own. They never ask that question as to what other gear do you have and what sort of playing style. You know?
but I mean, what else? Everyone wants that question answered in life. Like, what is best? What food is best? What what lifestyle is best? Which like set of beliefs are best?
Why is that question? Do people need that confirmation that, you know, like, do people buy things just to get the praise of the respect from their friends?
I think so. I think a large part of it's like signaling, isn't it?
It's very,
especially the pedal community.
It's very easy to buy gear, but you can't buy tone.
Yeah.
You know, like,
there you go. That's
and even the word tone. If you think about it, I can speak to you in a tone that's normal, or angry, or happy, or that. But I think tone sometimes gets mixed up with sound.
Yeah.
Because sound and tone, you know, I could be not dynamic and just chugga. That's a sound and a tone, because angry. Yeah. Or I could be soft and dynamic, and, you know, it's just, and chasing tone. It's like you're chasing a recording, right?
Yeah.
So name any what's a tone that someone would chase?
Eddie Van Halen.
Or say Appetite for Destruction,
Yep.
whatever. That was that particular sound and vibe captured at that one specific time. Okay, so you get them back in the same room and do it again.
Yeah.
It'll be different.
Yeah, the thing that I realised this wasn't a very common thing to realise when you're 15 and you've been playing guitar for like a year, was I always remember thinking, why would you want to try to sound like something which you can't recreate? Why don't you try to understand what those people were thinking when they tried to do it, and try to like channel that? So it's like, I think someone like Eddie Van Halen, you watch him play guitar, He's always smiling. He's jumping around. There's this
It's
like
the vibe.
there's this complete like headspace that he's in. How can I get myself into that headspace? And if I do, because I'm not Eddie Van Halen, it's going to be different. But that can be like something that I can sort of channel into that might make it sound like me in
You know what?
that headspace.
At the end of the day, gear is just the tools.
Yeah.
What do you want out of your gear? Play live shows, travel, have fun. Don't, I guess, you know, if you get so caught up that you have to have a $2,000 pedal to make you feel good, to get that tone, yeah, look, that no dramas with that, but if you can't have fun, why are you doing